I'm on a Zoom call.
Okay.
All right, for those of you just joining us in the recording, we've gone through our preliminary
It's just a flyer.
happy
You can leave
thoughts
it here and I'll post it
and
later.
so on. Announcements for this week. I guess the first one probably is to, as my track record obviously is not one to brag about, but it does appear that we have 4 consecutive days of rain starting tomorrow. Would there be agreement that we, or this is in regards to our kind of tentatively planned yard road cleanup on Saturday? Would it be a consensus that with the weather pending and then having potentially 3 days of wet trash that we cancel that event? Seeing that all the way around, yes?
I vote yes.
Okay, very good. We'll go ahead and do that. And go ahead, Becky.
I just said I vote yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, with that said, we still have our Turkey Trot event in November to count as our community service for the month. And so I will send out a note then to confirm that this Saturday's event has been postponed due to the weather. Okay.
Oh, and I have something I almost forgot. I got a call from Sandra yesterday, and she needs to be released. So I think the club secretary does that.
He has been already. It's done.
He already did that? Very good. Okay, because she was having trouble signing in down in California because she hadn't been released here for some reason.
Yeah.
Very good. And we welcome Jerry to the meeting. Hey, we got a good turnout here for the Zoom today. Any other announcements then? We will plan on having a board meeting next Tuesday via Zoom. And for next Wednesday's meeting, it is the Veterans Day holiday. And for our program, I would like each of you to be prepared to share a patriotic moment, whether that was with Rotary or in honor of an important person in your life. So that's going to be our program next week. We will meet via Zoom. And with the plan then on the 18th that we'll have good weather or potentially an inside location that we all can agree to meet at. And to confirm, we won't meet on the 25th, the day before Thanksgiving. So with that said, I'll see board members, which is almost all of you, again on Tuesday, and then we'll kind of plan out the rest of the calendar year. So those of you who attend, please be ready for that next Wednesday. In doing research for the calendar for the year, I went to a source, I can't remember which, International. Mary, are we getting feedback from your office possibly, or?
I don't think so, but I'll mute.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. The theme for November internationally is the Rotary Foundation. And so for our program today, I thought maybe I did find a program. It was actually produced by the Marin County Club in California. It's about a 20-minute video-ish. So I'm going to put that on. It's a reminder about what the Rotary Foundation is and all it encompasses. And so that's going to be our program. If you're not interested in that, you can sign out. That will be back in about 20 minutes, but hopefully you'll stick around. And as soon as I can find where my meeting is. Sorry, thought I had it up here.
Sounds like somebody's eating celery.
Yes.
Jerry Herbage's light is on. It must be him.
Ah,
Naughty.
Sorry, I'm still trying to get my. Here we go. Can everybody see the video okay?
yep.
Okay. Here we go.
Please enjoy the program. Thank you. Our objectives today are to review the history of the Rotary Foundation, to talk about Rotary's areas of focus, Polio Plus, and grants and giving. The Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into service projects that change lives locally and globally. Since it was founded more than 100 years ago, the foundation has spent more than $4 billion on life-changing sustainable projects. With your help, we can make lives better in your community and around the world. In 1917, Arch Klump was president of Rotary, and he said, "It seems eminently proper that we should accept endowments for the purpose of doing good in the world." And with that, the Rotary Foundation was created. Shortly thereafter, the first donation was made. It was a mere $26.50. In 1930, the foundation made its first award. It was for $500 to the International Society for Crippled Children. This organization became famous for Easter seals to help children with disabilities, including those that were stricken with polio. How prophetic was it that our foundation's first award was to an organization that helped children with disabilities as we now continue to eradicate polio around the world. Our foundation's mission is to enable Rotarians to advance world understanding, goodwill, and peace through the improvement of health, the support of education, and the alleviation of poverty. The work of Rotary begins in the community, and every community has its own unique needs and concerns. While we serve in countless ways, Rotary's efforts are focused in several key areas to maximize our impact. These areas encompass some of the world's most critical and widespread humanitarian needs, and Rotarians have a proven record of a success in addressing them. Rotary Foundation trustees and Rotary's International Board of Directors have added a new area of focus: supporting the environment. The environment becomes Rotary's seventh area of focus. More than $18 million in Foundation Global Grant funding has been allocated to environment-related projects over the past 5 years. Creating a distinct area of focus to support the environment will give Rotary members even more ways to bring about positive change in the world and increase our impact. Gifts and commitments from Rotarians and others will be sought to provide global grant support for the new area of focus. Rotary's #1 humanitarian goal is the eradication of polio. Many years ago, the number of cases in the world of polio was some 350,000. And many of these youngsters, because polio impacts mainly children, many of them were disabled, severely disabled, and unfortunately, many passed away. In 1985, Rotary had the courage to say, we will eradicate polio. And we made a promise to the children of the world to create a polio-free environment. While we're not quite there yet, because we still have polio in Afghanistan and Pakistan, we've made an awful lot of progress. It's estimated that some 14 million children are walking today without disabilities because they received the polio vaccine. 450 million children are immunized annually. We have funded 150,000 polio workers, and perhaps even more is the polio infrastructure that is now being used to fight other diseases. You may recall that several years ago in Africa, there was a terrible Ebola outbreak that just kept going on, and it was finally shut down. And then a few years after that, there was another outbreak that only lasted for a matter of weeks. Part of the reason was that was able to come to closure so quickly was because of the infrastructure and the medical surveillance networks that polio and our partners have put together around the world. We are now doing the same with COVID-19. We've also used our medical surveillance networks with yellow fever and dengue fever. Our partners include World Health Organization, UNICEF, governments of the world, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Rotary provides $50 million annually, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation matches our $50 million 2-to-1. So just between the Gates Foundation and Rotary, we have $150 million annually that goes toward the polio eradication. World Polio Day is October 24. This year, our district is sponsoring an exciting road rally to end polio. Details are coming, but please save the date. Now, as Rotarians, we know that you've got lots of ideas for service projects, and you've got projects, and the Rotary Foundation can help. So what kind of funding is available? District grants are small-scale, short-term activities that address needs in your community. Each grant must align with the mission of the Rotary Foundation. Clubs determine what projects it would like to fund as part of the annual district grant request. Districts can spend up to 50% of their district designated funds to receive just one district grant annually. Clubs apply to the district, and then our district applies to the Rotary Foundation for the district grant on behalf of all the clubs. Examples of district grants in District 5150 include dictionaries for third grade students, a walking path to facilitate residents to exercise to combat obesity, bikes and helmets for underprivileged children, and a variety of youth programs including Rotary Youth Exchange, Rotary Youth Leadership Awards known as RYLA, Rotaract, and Interact. Small international service projects can also qualify for district grants. A couple examples include provided solar lighting, sanitation, and creation of a schoolroom for children in India, provided solar-powered water filtration systems in India and Guatemala. Global grants provide funding for long-term projects, graduate-level scholarships, and vocational training teams. These grants support large-scale international activities with sustainable, measurable outcomes in response to a locally identified need. The project must align with one of Rotary's 7 areas of focus, and a detailed needs assessment is required. With a minimum budget of $30,000, clubs can use district-designated funds and cash contributions for a global grant project. The Rotary Foundation World Fund matches DDF on a dollar-for-dollar basis. Cash contributions are not matched. After becoming qualified, the District 5150 Club and their international Rotary Club partner submit the global grant application using the Rotary Foundation Grant Center. Examples of global grants in our district include microcredit projects in Central America, agricultural projects including greenhouses in the high mountains of Peru, providing an irrigation aqueduct in the High Atlas Mountains in Morocco, and also a fish processing center and market in Ecuador. The Disaster Response Grant Program was created in 2019 and is aimed at short-term activities focused on relief and recovery. Districts work closely with local officials and groups to ensure that the funding will meet a specific community need. Typically, disaster response grants provide funds for areas affected by a natural disaster. These grants were recently used in California in response to the terrible forest fires. Rotary District 5150 applied for a Rotary Disaster Response Grant in 2020 as part of our efforts to provide some relief to the pandemic. We received a grant of $25,000, all of which was provided to the San Francisco Marin and Second Harvest food banks. Our district charitable foundation matched this grant. A total of $50,000 was provided to these 2 food banks, which provided approximately 200,000 meals to the most vulnerable population. And finally, programs of scale grants are designed for long-term projects that address a regionally important issue that will benefit a large number of people or a significant geographical area. Activities must use sustainable, evidence-based intervention with measurable outcomes and impact, and align with one or more of Rotary's areas of focus. This is a competitive process, and one approved project per year will receive $2 million from the Rotary Foundation. This is a newly created grant program. No grants have yet been approved. How are grants funded? First, your generous donations to the annual fund share. The Rotary Foundation transforms your gifts into service projects that change lives locally and globally. By giving to the annual fund, you make these life-changing projects possible so that together we can keep doing good in the world. The annual fund is the main funding source for our foundation's programs. When you donate to the annual fund share, a portion of those funds become available to your club each year as district designated funds, or DDF. Your club can use this money to support district and global grants. Your club decides how to spend your allocated DDF. The Rotary Foundation uses the World Fund to support Rotary's highest priority grants and programs, which are available to all Rotary districts. The Rotary Foundation is an organization you can support with confidence. The Rotary Foundation has dedicated about 90% of its total spending to programs over the past 10 years, far exceeding the efficiency standards set by independent charity rating services. Charity Navigator, for example, ranks the Rotary Foundation as its #1 rating among nonprofit foundations. We just launched the Every Rotarian Every Year fundraising campaign here in District 5150. This campaign is specific for the annual fund share, and which, as we know, will return to your club in about, half of it will return to your club in 3 years. This year we've got some District 5150 incentives, is invested for 3 years. and that growth supports foundation operations. After 3 years, those funds are divided in half, and half of the money goes to the World Fund, which provides support for global grants and programs. And the programs include Polio Plus, Rotary Peace Centers, and the Endowment Fund. And the other half goes to district designated funds. So if your club donated $5,000 3 years ago, this year, half of that money would go to the World Fund, and the other half comes to your club. In our district, we allocate all DDF to the clubs. In our district, we hold no DDF for district purposes. It's a wonderful system, and we are one of the few in the world that allocate this way. So it's important to remember that clubs determine the use of DDF. You can use it for district grants, global grants. You can send money to the Polio Plus Fund or the Endowment Fund or the Rotary Peace Fellows. And again, all the DDF is allocated to the clubs on a pro rata share based on your giving for the last 3 years. And what's wonderful about this is that clubs determine what projects they want to do and how to use their DDF. Having an endowment fund ensures the long-term viability of the foundation's grants and programs. The endowment fund is carefully invested, and a portion of the interest, called spendable earnings, are made available annually to be spent according to the donor's wishes. Since the initial contribution is not spent, but continues to earn interest each year, the impact of the gift can be seen year after year after year. As with the annual fund, there are a number of ways to designate a gift within the endowment.
You're a Leadwood. You know what that means?
We work hard and we give back.
You know, someday this apple tree will be bigger than I am. We're leaving the future behind today. You'll see.
Giving to Rotary's endowment ensures life-changing programs will benefit generations to come. Your legacy is Rotary's promise.
Arch Clump said, Rotary's tomorrow depends on what we do today. How will your legacy change the world? Rotary provides a great deal of resources on the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation Reference Guide provides details on grants and giving. And the Resource Guide for Zones 26 and 27 is also an excellent document. This document particularly is easy to use because it contains many links that will easily take you to source documents. Both of these documents also provide information on recognition of giving for your Rotarians, such as Paul Harris Fellows. The End Polio Now website provides excellent information on our efforts to eradicate polio. I urge you to go to Rotary's Learning Center and take some of the courses. Courses such as the Rotary Foundation Basics and Grant Management. These are excellent courses.
Well, thank you for reviewing that. I know for most of us that was a review of all the things that Rotary can do and does do. Does anybody have any comments or directions about the video? I have a sense that the Moran Evening Club is a little larger than ours, so I'll have to admit that the numbers they were spouting off were pretty significant, but we just have to put that into perspective for our local club and what we can do. So, and again, looking across the screen, and for those who aren't here with us live today, I know you all consider when you can to give it to the Rotary Foundation, whether that's through like what I do. I actually took the hint from Sandra, and I just have, $25 a month comes right off my debit card and is an auto deposit. And Mary, has done her birthday gift. So there's a lot of ways that you can personally make that contribution as it fits your budget and so on. So thank you on behalf of Rotary for doing all that. Is there any other good topics or it could be bad topics too? Anything else for the good of the order?
Think of anything?
Okay, so just in conclusion, we will not be having our Jerry's Flat cleanup on Saturday. That is canceled due to the pending weather. Board will meet next Tuesday via Zoom, and we will meet as a club on Wednesday via Zoom with a patriotic veterans theme, if you would be invited to share.
I do have
yes.
I have a question for the group, and I'm not sure who's on here that might know. Mary might know. Typically in the past, the Rotary Club supports the Thanksgiving meals. And I'm just wondering what the Fairgrounds is planning to do this year. Does anybody know?
I read that they were thinking about doing to-go boxes for people, but I haven't gotten a call or called to find out anything more on it.
Okay.
Good thought.
But Turkey Trot is on, correct?
Yes.
The Saturday. Yeah, the Saturday after.
I'll see what I can find out between now and our board meeting, if what the Fairgrounds is planning on doing.
That'd be great.
Kim, I don't remember, I don't have the budget in front of me, so I don't even remember us bringing it up in the budget, but years past, we've done 500 to the Friends of the Fairgrounds, 250 for Thanksgiving and 250 for Christmas. Is that still
usually my memory is that, well, at least when I did the budget, and I think when I was working with Sandra on it, that it was kind of just in that one of the areas of the budget where it was sort of, we penciled it in there, but it wasn't spelled out as that. It was sort of community programs.
But you're correct.
It's we have to vote on every year, or do we just automatically do it?
The board has voted to do it every year at a board meeting. It's been kind of penciled into the budget, and when we run the budget by the club, it's just been kind of, that particular line is described as community needs as they come up. And I don't know that we would, I'm pretty sure my memory is last year, when the board approved them, we approved them as a group. We approved a number of different holiday food programs as a group. But I think that we had some discussion about it, but we didn't bring it to an entire club vote because it was just, and we didn't ask for a specific application for each one because we typically do them every year. So that's my memory of it. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there wasn't in this budget a line item specific to, so not to say we couldn't change that.
But so we're prepared to give the Friends of the $500 for the 2 holiday meals.
Yes.
Not a question, right?
I mean, I guess that's assuming that they're doing it.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to let people know, Tim, that I will edit out the few minutes of trying to get her volume up. So, surprised.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And again, for those, that was a new thing for me today to learn. So appreciate Mary's little hint there on check the box in the corner. Share computer audio. Okay, that's a good one. So with that said, have a great week, and we'll see you all next time. Take care.
Thank you, Tim.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.